Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday. In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down what is Amazon multi-channel fulfillment, the current rate structure, and why it might or might not make sense for your e-com and Amazon business. Breakdown coming now. So, first things first, what I wanna show you is what is Amazon multi-channel fulfillment? So think of what Amazon has built was basically an FBA for all other channels. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but the core infrastructure of MCF is that the same stock that you're now sending to FBA, they can now enable shipping for Shopify, for TikTok, for any other channels that you might sell on, multi-channel fulfillment. It's basically a competitor of AMZ Prep. It's their version of a 3PL, which I'll be breaking down the pricing on, but it's as simple as you're sending all your stock to FBA, and then they will then enable different channels. The Shopify, the TikToks, the Shein, wherever else that you might sell, they're continuing to add different channels. And so basically the process is quite simple. You're sending all your stock to FBA, FBA is then fulfilling the orders for Shopify, TikTok, wherever else it might sell. So how does the pricing work? So Amazon charges for multi-channel fulfillment a little bit of a unique way. It's very similar to how they charge for FBA. So they will charge on a per item basis. That includes the pick, pack, and the shipping. So as an example, this is a 8 ounce. This is during peak, so right now. This I think was a 10 ounce. This is a t-shirt, one of the apparel brands that we fulfill, call it 437. It's one of our best brands. And so with a brand like 437, they would charge $8.79 if it's one item. Right? So if it's one item only, they would charge $8.79. If it's two, right? So people order 2 t-shirts, hypothetically, it's $6.34 times 2. Okay, so now you're at $12.68. I don't do public math, but I am today. $12.68 if it's 2 of them, and then if it's 3 of them, it's $5.44 times 3. So that will give you an idea. So the way they charge is on every individual item. So it actually disincentivizes you on if you're doing, high AOV. So if your cart value is higher, if you have multi-pick items, this will traditionally discourage you, which I'll explain afterwards. Let me go through 3 other ones. This one's a 50-pound bicycle. Traditionally not a good fit for FBA. That's why we do Sell to Fulfill Prime for these brands, but they would charge $62.47 plus 59 cents per additional pound. So if you have a 100-pound item, you do 62.47 times 59 times 50 pounds, right? So then you get your total impact right here. Same thing, last thing we'll do is an iPhone, one of the smallest ones. That's gonna be $7.18 for the first one. You gotta get through? Of course, no. Yeah, here, let me grab it off. Of course, working hard. Happy Diwali, by the way. Back in action. Okay, last one is, let's just call it an iPhone, jewelry, anything small like that. First item, if you do 1 item orders, $7.18. If they're doing 2 of the same, say someone orders 2 phone cases from your Shopify store, it'll be $5 times 2, $10 total order value. If it's $4.29, it's 3. $4.29 times 3, round it up, call it $13. So if you're an apparel brand or a supplement brand, for example, this is a good segment where if you have 3 item picks, you're paying $15, $16, $16.50 is the total here for 3 item picks. Now imagine when it's 4, when it's 5, when it's 6, right? This could be a $20 order, right? Or if it's an iPhone case or something small and light, think jewelry, right? If you're averaging 4 item picks, because if you're in jewelry, you might have a ring, a necklace, whatever else it might be, you might be averaging $20 for that order versus when a 3PL will be drastically less. So this is what matters when you're thinking about a different approach. Some brands use us versus MCF because of packaging, custom branding, the experience, the different carriers we're utilizing. Some because they have multi-picks, right? So the more picks you have, MCF actually de-incentivizes you. They want 1 item, small and light, simple to fulfill, simple channels to fulfill for, right? That's where their bread and butter is, not these high item picks and customization, and that's not for them. Now, 2 other things to keep in mind. Down here, you'll see this is the storage. So they just this year, 2025, implemented peak and non-peak. So non-peak is 78 cents per cubic foot. During peak, it's $2.40 per cubic foot. Just like to give you an idea, we might be at like 20 to 40 cents, depending on the facility, per cubic footage, versus this is, $2 and some change. This is FBA, cubic footage charging. This is steep. It's gonna be really expensive, especially if we're fulfilling larger items. That's $30 to $70 a pallet, depending on the way that you're calculating it. So how do we compare, or a 3PL compare, AMZ Prep, one of them, to Amazon multi-channel fulfillment? We get this question, literally our guys are on calls, I would probably say 2 to 4 a day, asking us about multi-channel, is it a good fit, who's a good fit for? So let's just do a 3PL. Let's not be biased to us for a second here. So if we fulfill, which we do, 437, case study just came out. If we fulfill for 437 and we're fulfilling multiple, I'm just gonna use some basic numbers here. Call it, we'll charge 3 different layers, right? So we'll charge a first pick, we'll charge a second pick, and then we'll charge for shipping, right? And we have all these different carriers that we're utilizing. So let's just call it, say they're not shipping. Let's say it's $1.50, right? And let's say it's 3 t-shirts, right? Let me show you in real time. The benefits of the warehouse, baby. So 437, say we're gonna pick 3 of these bad boys. We'll charge $1.50. And just for simple math, let's just say plus, let's just say 20 cents for additional pick, right? So 20 times 2, right? So a little bit more complicated from the math, but that's fine. So now you're going to be a total of $1.50, 20 cents, 40 cents, $1.90 per order. Hypothetically speaking, pricing goes down, but I just want to give some context. So now you're at $1.90. Say this ends up ending out to be £1.50 pound. Hypothetically, we use someone like Viho or one of our other regionals like Uni. We have all these different regionals that we're utilizing. Maybe the shipping ends up being, let's just be on the high end, call it $5.50, right? So now your total cost is $1.90, $5.50. There you go, $7.40. Okay, so, and that's just a rule of thumb, right? So if we're at $7.40, they're at, call it, so now we do, right? So MCF, 3PL, they might be at, for 3 picks, 5, 10, 15, 16.50, call it. 3PL might be at 7.40, right? Call it 50% difference. This is what matters the most. And if you use the bicycle one, it's gonna be a lot less. It might be only $20 for shipping, right? Hypothetically, and then a pick of a couple bucks. So this is where you have to be very careful where multi-channel fulfillment makes sense. I think where we've seen the most success with MCF is that merchants that exclusively sell on Amazon aren't omni-channel, want to get into Shopify, or they are very heavy on single item picks under £1. Amazon can be a great solution, but if the brand's also enabling B2B, they sell in multi-marketplaces, they have compliance, they're doing prep, B2B, D2C, high item picks, because that's the name of the game, you want high AOV, traditionally MCF might not be the best fit. You also keep in mind, you put a lot of your trust into Amazon. I talk about Amazon the most, I'm a big raver of it, but be careful of biting the hand that feeds you. You are putting 100% allocation and risk inside of Amazon as a 3PL. It's an okay solution, it might not be a great solution, you gotta do what's best for your brand, but I'm just giving you the data, and the data speaks volume. So, that's my quick recap, pros and cons of it. There's a time and place for MCF where it makes more sense, high volume picks, higher items more than £1, and then you compare it to something like a 3PL that would actually be fulfilling it like an AMZ Prep. This is where you'll do it. We actually have a calculator that we built that does this whole analysis. So it might be good to look at. You can play around and see if it makes sense for you as a brand. But this was my episode of Whiteboard Wednesdays, a little bit more sporadic and spontaneous, but hopefully you got some value out of it. If you want more of these, comment down below what you want to see. I would love to keep doing them. Thanks.